Okay, fellow patriots, Double D here. Just thought I'd raise a thought-provoking question for the day. I know a lot of people aren't thinking about this kind of stuff, but if you're out there and you're an atheist, my question is two parts. Where do you draw your faith?
I don't. Funny thing, as an atheist, faith is one thing I definitely don't have. Let's do this. Greetings, fellow space travelers. BionicDance here. We're looking at a fellow who doesn't understand the mindset of an atheist, for which there is no single cookie-cutter mold, when it comes to having a purpose in life, a reason to live. Like so many God-botherers, he's clearly trying to cram atheists into a believer-shaped box. Don't get me wrong, I think it's great that he at least wants to understand, assuming he really wants to know and isn't just calling us dumbasses. But I suspect that understanding that atheism does not follow the same paradigm as religion is going to be just as much of an uphill battle with him as with any other religious person I've yet encountered.
Where do you draw your faith from? Where do you get your hope from? Is it in humanity? I mean, just give me an idea. Where do you get your hope from?
Hope about what? No, really. Could you be more specific? I mean, you hear the term hope a lot, but it can mean so many different things. If I use the term, basically I'm saying that, gosh, it sure would be nice if things turned out well instead of poorly. Whether or not I have confidence that it will is actually a separate factor. When I hear religious people say hope, it usually sounds more like they mean confidence. What reason do you have to suspect that things will turn out well? Me, I think it'll be God's handiwork. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's the only context I have to go on here. And if that's what we're talking about, where do I get my confidence? I'd have to say experience. I know my abilities. I know the abilities of those around me, and hopefully their willingness to help out. And maybe a dollop or two of completely irrational wishful thinking. I've been known to indulge. So it's kind of like counting on God, only a lot less magical.
And secondly, what is your life worth? I mean, what is your ultimate goal? Is it just to get to the end and die? I mean, what's at the end of the rainbow for you if you're an atheist?
And this is where the atheist and theist paradigms are dissimilar. The assumption is that there is an end of the rainbow and that life is only worth something if there is a finish line that involves trophies. But the truth is that, to an atheist, life is all the more precious because it's all we have. Enjoy it to the full because you don't get a second go-round, you don't get a do-over, you don't get to go to a paradise. I described in a recent video about how I don't really fear death. I'm a little afraid of how I end up dead, but death itself, oblivion, I have reason to suspect that it's not that bad. In fact, it's not anything. The idea that an eventual death in which I become nothingness could deprive me of hope rather badly misunderstands who I am, who most atheists are. Like I said, that's trying to cram us into a theist-shaped box, like asking us how we can see the world exactly as he does and still have hope. But expecting me to see the world as he does is the first stumbling block to grokking my worldview.
It would seem to me like if there was no hope at the end of the rainbow, what's the purpose of the whole challenge? Because I mean, like, as human beings, we save money to buy a car. We save money to buy a house. We get married and we hope we have kids. You go to the grocery store because you want to come back with food. So let's put it into perspective. The atheist starts off their day going to the grocery store, but then denies the existence of the grocery store, so they'll just never eat because it is what it is. I don't know. If I'm wrong, let me know, but that's kind of how I view it.
We can see a grocery store. We could find the people who built it and who own it if we did our homework. The grocery store is apparently as real as we are. When God is as real as a grocery store, we'll talk. Until then, I'm going to stay an atheist, whether there's hope or not. What he said here reveals something I'm not sure he intended. One thing he's hinted at very strongly is that he seems to think that life, existence itself, is obligated to not stink. If you read between the lines a little, he's getting across that he's assuming there is hope as he puts it, whether it's so or isn't, because he couldn't live any other way or can't understand how one could. Well, maybe life does suck and then you die. And if so, what you gonna do about it? Get depressed and commit suicide because there is no meaning to life? Meaning is what you make it. Meaning is personal. One person's shitty day could be another's dude, this rocks. It's all down to perspective, and sometimes living and loving is what you make. No God required.
But the biggest part is, where do you draw your hope from? I mean, each day that you go through life, You look at life and your hardships and you think to yourself, do I draw my hope from myself? Do I just draw it from my significant other? And then where do they draw theirs from? That's my question for you.
And you think to yourself, no, that's what you'd think to yourself. And I ask again, hope about what? There still seems to be an assumption here that fundamentally misunderstands who and what atheists truly are.
And I'll leave you with this. So in Matthew 10:33, it says, "But whoever denies me before men, him I will also deny before my Father who is in heaven." That means the longer you continue to deny Christ, remember, you're being denied.
Well, that just sounds like a baseless scare tactic. It's inventing the disease to sell you the cure. Until you can show me that there is anything to deny, why should I take seriously the threat of being denied by that thing you can't show me is denying me because I'm denying it? Yeah.
I'm not doing it. I'm not here to judge you. You can be atheist all day long and I'll still be your best friend. We can break bread.
Oh.
We can drink. We can do whatever it takes. But know this, that when we part the earth, we'll be headed in two separate directions.
I don't think we will. Can you give me a reason to think otherwise that doesn't rely on faith?
Because it's clear right there, and you don't want Jesus Christ denying you before his Father in heaven. I'm going to tell you right now, I just don't think that works out well for anybody who's in that category.
Well, why would he? I mean, think about it. I'm going to hide from you and expect you to believe in me anyway, and if you don't, I'm going to tell my daddy on you, and he's going to be angry and tell Satan to spank your bottom for not saying I'm real even though I'm invisible. Does that sound reasonable to you? Sounds really obnoxious to me. And made up.
Now, keep in mind, I, like you, and I am also a sinner. Your sin is no greater than mine no greater than yours, but
One time I killed a man in cold blood, but you once rickrolled a guy. Clearly some sins are worse than others. Think about it. Take all the time you need.
And then let's just think about this. If you were a God in the world, and you loved your world so much that you gave up your only begotten son, what would that say to the whole world?
It would say that you're one sick, psychopathic, dangerous felon who needs to be locked up, is what that would say.
That is an incredible amount of love.
That's not love, that's creepy and sick. And idiotic. Dude's supposed to be all-powerful. Use your infinite mojo to save everybody. There's no need to engage in familial homicide. It mystifies me how Christians don't see how twisted this all is. It's barbaric, it's creepy, and it badly breaks biblical continuity. Take it from a sci-fi nerd, continuity's important. Either your God's not real, or he's an idiot. Or both. There's plenty of chowder-headed fictional characters out there. Just watch an Adam Sandler movie, you'll find one. Right. Okay, before we get going, another thank you. If you've ever played the game Portal, and come on, who hasn't? You know the companion cube. I love them myself. I have the plushie, the keychain, the Funko Pop, the cookie jar, and now the car decal. Again, not sure who sent this to me. There was no note, but whoever you are, thank you. Now I just need the car to put it on. Until next time, fellow space travelers, this is BionicDance saying don't run on automatic. Instead, please think.
Even YouTubers need Ferraris. Please donate on Patreon.